In July 1518, a woman stepped into a Strasbourg street and began to dance. No band, no feast, no obvious reason. The strangest part is that she apparently could not stop. Within days, more people were moving with her. Within weeks, some accounts say dozens, maybe hundreds, were caught in the same compulsion, turning, stumbling, sweating, and begging for relief. The version that travels faster says hundreds danced themselves to death. The records are not that clean. Deaths were reported in later accounts, but the exact toll is still debated. The real mystery is not whether one dramatic number is true. It is why an entire city became convinced that dancing was both the disease and, for a while, the cure. Because the dancing plague is not just a weird footnote. It is a case study in fear, belief, medicine, hunger, and the terrifying ways a body can speak when a society is breaking. Strasbourg in 1518 was a busy city on the edge of the Holy Roman Empire, close to the Rhine, tied to trade, religion, rumor, and the anxieties moving through Alsace. The years before the outbreak were brutal. Historians point to poor harvests, high grain prices, disease, and poverty. That does not explain the dancing by itself, but it changes the atmosphere. People also lived inside a spiritual universe that felt immediate. Saints could heal, demons could attack, sin could bring punishment. For many, invisible forces were not metaphors, they were part of daily life. One belief matters most here. Saint Vitus was associated with a dancing curse. If you already fear that such a curse can strike, one dancer in the street becomes more than one dancer. That belief gave fear a script. The mind did not invent a random symptom from nowhere. It reached for a form of suffering the culture already recognized. City leaders did what city leaders do in a crisis. They asked experts. Physicians reportedly framed the problem through the medical language of the time, including overheated blood and bodily imbalance. Their recommendation sounds absurd now. Let the afflicted dance it out. Sweat the sickness away. Exhaust the force inside them until it burns itself down. So space was cleared. Musicians were hired. Dancers were gathered where everyone could see them. What was meant as treatment became a stage for contagion. If the outbreak was psychogenic, visibility mattered. Each new dancer made the curse feel more real. Each witness became a possible participant, especially if they were already frightened and exhausted. When the strategy failed, authorities shifted from medicine to morality and religion. Public dancing was restricted. The worst afflicted were eventually sent toward the shrine of Saint Vitus. The most famous explanation is ergot poisoning. Ergot is a fungus that can grow on rye and produce hallucinations, convulsions, burning pain, and terrifying illness. It sounds neat until the body enters the story. Ergotism can be excruciating. Many historians argue it would not easily produce days of coordinated dancing across so many people. The stronger modern explanation is mass psychogenic illness, real physical symptoms spreading through a community under extreme pressure. Not fake, not staged. A crisis of mind and body together. Modern scholars stress that distress does not look the same everywhere. In one culture, fear may become fainting. In another, possession. In Strasbourg, it may have become dance. This also explains why the outbreak could be selective. The same fear does not break every person the same way. It spreads through attention, expectation, vulnerability, and trust in what others believe they see. So did hundreds die? Probably not in the simple viral sense. Some later reports describe deaths from exhaustion or collapse, but the contemporary record leaves the number unresolved. That uncertainty should not make the suffering imaginary. People were frightened. Bodies failed. Officials panicked. Families watched a symptom they could not explain move through their streets. The twist is that the strangest explanation may be the most human one. A starving, fearful city did not need poison to lose control. It needed pressure, belief, and a spark. That is why the story survives. It sits between medicine and myth, between documented event and uncertain memory, between a real outbreak and the legends built around it. In 1518, Strasbourg tried to cure dancing with more dancing. 5 centuries later, the lesson is still uncomfortable. Sometimes the cure makes the contagion visible.